Bienvenidos everyone a Ciudad de Mexico. Here's part 2 of our exploration on Museo Nacional de Antropología, National Museum of Anthropology. Here, one of the biggest collections of Mesoamerican artifacts in all of the world. One of the most important museums as well. This is a part 2 because my connection dropped earlier after we visited the Aztec area right over here. So this entire place was designed by the same guy who designed the Basilica of Our Lady of Guadalupe, Pedro Ramirez Vasquez. He designed this beautiful museum. You can see it also has this very kind of 70s aesthetic to it. Got tiny little fishes swimming here. That's funny. Raul says my favorite museum of all time. Oh, I'm so glad, Raul. Hey Kay, hey Raul, hey everyone. Mirna. Where is Mirna? Hello, Ronald. Wendy, indeed I'm back. So, Kaulikwe probably wasn't too happy that I was talking about her. And the connection dropped. So, blame Kaulikwe, the headless mother goddess. So let's go visit an area of the museum that was infamous back in 1985. Because in December 26th, just the day after Christmas, all news was alit here in Mexico, captured the entire nation. They were captivated as to what transpired here in this museum because one of the largest heists happened. Let's not find one of the more that were stolen that time. Hey, hola, güey. So here we see that this entire roof is a bit nerve-wracking for an area, for a city prone to earthquakes, because it stands on only one single column. Monica says, Kaulikwe did it for sure. Indeed she did. So laggy on the outside. Oh boy, I love this museum. Roland says she wanted you alter herself. Oh no, I would not want to be in the same room as Kaulikwe. You have to stop just dropping out, says Joe. Yeah, trust me, I don't like ending a live stream out of nowhere. Here, the data in Mexico is a pain. It's a pain. What can you do? It's out of my control in this case. Shower, yep. Take a bath over there if you want to. Wash yourself from the bad vibes from Kaulikwe. So, I think she said it was on the basement. Well, let's see if we can find it. Love your shirt, says Michelle. Oh, I'm glad you do. Yeah, I'm glad you like the shirt. It's like a camouflage for anyone who's very high on psilocybin and walking around the jungle and then seeing the entire jungle in purple, then I would be camouflaged in that case. Wendy says, an architect's dream is a structural engineer's nightmare, says Joe. Indeed, poor structural engineer who had to figure out how to balance a gigantic roof on a single column. So this is Occidental, so this is a little bit further out. in Mexico. Hi, Yogi Bear, nice to see you here. Kay says a Mexican writer won the Dublin Literary Prize today. Oh, and that's like one of the highest honors in literature. That's awesome. So Miss Universe, and there's a literary award winner. That's awesome. Have you heard of Douglas Cardinal? He's a famous architect from Alberta, Canada. No, not yet. No, not yet. Your volume is very low. It's because I'm speaking low. I'm trying to respect the peace of the museum. I don't want to wake up Huatlicue, the headless mother goddess. No buffer. Mucho artesanía. Sí, hay mucho artesanía aquí en esta área. There's a lot of artistry, indeed. What did the Aztecs use for pottery glaze? I don't know. This is pre-Aztec right now, what we're seeing. I don't know. Good question. All made of barro. Pero antes era artesanías. They were before craft goods, but now, of course, they're archaeological treasures. Oh, this guy's happy. Yay! This is how I look after eating a good avocado toast. Including no clothes, because I get so happy. Oh, Raul, you have friends at the Cineteca. Send me a message. Send me a direct message. That would be really cool. Potentially to show behind the scenes of the Cineteca. That would be really awesome. Send me a message on Facebook, Urbanist. No worries, B. Griffin. Thank you so much for tuning in.
Altavista es un sitio arqueológico ubicado en Zacatecas. Tiene características muy
De la área de Guerrero. Okay. Right here. It's a state. So Mexico, the official name of Mexico is the United States. So yep, they're United States, just like the United States of America, United States of Mexico.
Paralelamente algunos de los muros del lugar, hasta llegar a un altar construido especialmente para conmemorar esa fecha. En el llamado Salón de las Columnas podemos encontrar 28 de ellas, que fueron el soporte del techo. Al norte del recinto fue encontrado un entierro múltiple con 4 vasijas de cerámica
Also,
como
Mexico's in
ofrenda,
America, says Chris. Yeah, that's correct.
asociadas al parecer con los
Acapulco
4
Beach
puntos cardinales.
is there. Oh, cool. In Guerrero.
Se ha
That's awesome.
considerado que este salón fue un templo dedicado al culto del dios Tezcatlipoca, en su advocación del dios jaguar de los cielos nocturnos. Al centro está la pirámide del Sol, que corresponde a la última de las 3 etapas constructivas de Alta Vista. En su interior fue encontrada una cripta con los restos de 3 individuos, así como de elaboradas ofrendas. Se cree que fueron sacerdotes o gobernantes asociados al
Yogi
culto
Bear.
del Sol.
En Santo Domingo también hay
El
artesanías
centro
antiguas.
arqueológico
Sí,
de Altavista fue
sí, también en Puerto
construido y
Rico. Los
habitado
taínos,
entre
¿verdad?
400 y 900 después de Cristo por los chalchihuitas. En él encontramos otras edificaciones como el Salón de las Calaveras y el Laberinto, que es un observatorio para registrar los nacimientos equinocciales del Sol.
Aquí encontramos una columna que sirve como gnomon o marcador astronómico. Durante el solsticio de verano, esta columna no proyecta sombra alguna.
Por su parte, el laberinto apunta directamente hacia el cerro Picacho. Durante los equinoccios, el sol sobre el horizonte, detrás del cerro, ilumina a el laberinto, con un rayo de luz directo al que se le llama camino solar.
Altavista no solo fue un centro religioso y de observación astronómica, sino también un importante centro minero. De él se extraían minerales en bruto y se manufacturaban objetos suntuarios que generaron una intensa actividad comercial local y
Esta zona tiene una tradición minera cercana a los 2000 años de antigüedad. Este sistema de explotación minera fue tan eficiente que varios siglos después de la llegada de los colonizadores europeos, tan solo adaptaron los sistemas indígenas a las condiciones mercantiles europeas.
Los antiguos mineros hacían una primera selección del material dentro de la mina. Los nódulos o rocas útiles se llevaban a la superficie y de ahí a los talleres de tallado. El mazo era la herramienta que utilizaban para obtener los más diversos minerales, entre los que se encuentran la malaquita, el jaspe, ágata, cuarzo, obsidiana y la piedra más preciada asociada con la lluvia, la sabiduría, lo sagrado, la fertilidad y el poder, la turquesa.
Además de ser un centro astronómico,
Yeah, they're mostly talking about the different stones. Alvaro asks, was the difference, or what was the connection between the Aztecs and the Maya? By the time the Aztecs came in the 1300s, the Maya were already vastly diminished. So they weren't nowhere near as powerful as during their own heyday. While they were still around, there was connection, there was trade, but and apparently they might have gone into certain parts close to Yucatan to get sacrifices, but that I'm not 100% sure. But yeah, they traded, but the Maya were nowhere near as powerful as they used to be. Oh, beautiful necklace! Look at that. The shell.
entre la aridez del paisaje, contrasta como una joya brillante la riqueza.
Besides corn, what other grains did the Aztecs and Mayans cultivate? It was basically corn. But the cool thing about corn is that they were able to cultivate 2 other crops right in the same field, right in the same stalk. On the bottom of the corn stalk, there would be squash. And around the corn stalk, on the vines, there would be beans. So they had 3 different crops. And combining together, they made for pretty good protein. So that's why Aztec culture was so, or Mesoamerican culture in general was so corn-centric. Of course, there was turkeys here, and there was sweet potato, and there's a few other things, or many other things. Quinoa was grown by the Inca, says Robert. Yeah, the Inca had access to potatoes, and that's why in Peruvian culture there wasn't a emphasis on corn. While they had corn, it wasn't as big as it was here in Mesoamerica. Is the history something most Mexicans know and learn? As far as I know, I think they are very proud of their own history, especially Mesoamerican, and I think it is taught in school. Oh, look at that. What is this? Can we see the jewelry? Yeah, I'll show it in a bit. Yeah. This is lienzo de Michoacán. So lienzo, I assume means quilt, maybe? Well, we have all the different tribes. We have, let's zoom in. It's like a map. Yeah, it's like a map, but not showing like geography per se. So here we see Tenochtitlan, spelled slightly different. Cuyoacán, Coyoacán. Teyoacán. Mixtlan. Tezatlan. So we're seeing all the different tribes. Try saying this word. So the jewelry, it's like a bulletin, yeah, like a bulletin board. Here's the jewelry. Beautiful jewelry. Look at that. Alvaro asks, do you know if the Spanish relied on African slaves like in other colonized areas of the Americas, or did they mainly rely on the indigenous people? Alvaro, great question. Here in Mexico, it was a mix. So yes, African slaves were brought into Mexico, and I think there's certain parts of Mexico closer to the coast where there are more Afro-Mexicans. But I don't think there's that many here in Mexico compared to the US. So I think they depended more on indigenous workers as well. Mexico outlawed slavery way before the US, as far as I know. The last place in the Americas to outlaw slavery was Brazil. So Brazil outlawed slavery about like 20 years after the US. US was second to last. But which is a country that borders Mexico, is almost all African descendants. Virginia, am I whispering? Yeah, indeed I am. I don't want to disturb the peace. I don't want to wake up Coatlicue. Oh, a book. Gigi says, Afro-Mexicans are usually around the coast of Veracruz. Oh, thank you, Veracruz. Oh, that's interesting. Thank you. So, probably a few hours away? by car. Beautiful. Oh, beautiful book.
Podemos encontrar desde las más bellas playas hasta el más árido desierto. Gracias a la diversidad geográfica y
Joe says, I don't think my girlfriend will approve of jewelry made out of bone. You never know, Joe, until you try. Maybe she'll enjoy this instead. A nice hairpiece. I wonder why they wore these hair pieces. They're very interesting looking. Now remember, all tribes were not created equal. They were not all the same. So the Aztecs were the ones with all the ritual sacrifice. Some of these might have been, and many others actually weren't. Many of the other Mesoamerican tribes, some of them or some of them very small, did not really do any type of sacrifice, or very little, maybe once a year. Is this usually empty? No, this is usually a very full museum. There's barely any, Alicine says, you want right, the hairpiece? Oh, of course I can rock it. Rock it for a little bit more shade. Hey, Beck, thank you so much for becoming a super urbanist, Beck. Beck has become a super urbanist. Thank you so much, Beck. Everyone give hearts to Beck for becoming a new super urbanist here on Urbanist. All right. How long did it take the conquistadors to defeat the Aztecs? Only a few years. Very little time. They did it very quickly. All right, let's go find this jade mask. Where are you at, jade mask? Culturas del Norte, or northern cultures. Oh, Mayas. I see Mayas. Okay, let's go. Who wants to cleanse themselves? Who wants to be blessed by Tlaloc, the god of rain? Yogi Bear says escalators or stairs. For me, it's escalators all the way. Walking up the escalators. Hey Evelyn, ¿cómo estás? ¿Estás disfrutando tu viaje en México? Sí, me está encantando. No mejores viajes que yo he cogido. One of the best trips I've taken. Really in love with Mexico. AR, thank you so much for a $10 super chat. Hey, AR left a $10 super chat. Thank you so much. Everyone give hearts to AR. $10 super chat. And yeah, this is a gigantic ceiling supported on one column. It's rather impressive. Fredo Ramirez was a very talented architect. and he worked with a hell of a structural engineer. How much were tickets? I spent to get permission for the video, it was like 50 plus 80, so 130. Wasn't too much. 130 pesos. Divide that by 20. So take out 0. 13 divided by 2. A little bit more than $6. $6.20, $6.30. $6.30 around there. But I paid for permission to use to film. Otherwise, it would be even cheaper. How much are the tickets? Oh yeah, very cheap. Between $3 and $6. So here we have the Mayan exhibition. You have to pay to film. Yeah, but it's only a few dollars. It's not that much. Teresa, thank you so much for the $20 super chat. Thank you so much. Yeah, most museums you do have to pay to film. So I had to do the same thing at Frida as well. Frida Kahlo's Casa Azul. Here's the area of the Maya. Mostly located on the Yucatan Peninsula. That is the Yucatan. And right over here is when we have the very famous towns like Tulum. AR, thank you so much for the additional $5 super chat. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. So Tulum, a very famous attraction. Then we have Cancun. We have a bunch of others. Playa del Carmen. And the cool thing is, if you were to fly over Yucatan, and you might see little pyramids sticking out. Well, little from the point of view of an airplane, but they're actually very big if you get up close to them, which I hope to cover one day in the future. I'm only covering Mexico City this time, but I'll probably return and go to Tulum and go to the nearby pyramids. So ancient Mayan civilization developed in a period more than over 400,000 square kilometers. So they reached as far south as Guatemala, Honduras, Belize, and El Salvador, which is Central America. And here's the timeline. Seems like everywhere you go, it's mostly empty. Is it because of very few people? Is it because of coronavirus? Or there are strong restrictions in terms like you gotta wear your mask. In here they sprayed my entire body with sanitizer, which was very interesting. And I'm not sure if they have capacity limits, but we're not reaching them. But I'm not sure why it's so empty. Maybe because there's very little tourism either from abroad or from the interior of Mexico. Because I think there's also a lot of tourism usually in the interior of Mexico. I don't think there are many other Mexicans are coming to the city. That might be, but I'm not sure. TL says hit a big like if you enjoy Ariel's outfit. Yeah, it was pretty intense. You should see the security guards. They're wearing like full-on masks. They look like face shields that are sunglasses as well. So they look like RoboCop. It's very fascinating. Bass says much cartel over here. Bass, saying that you're going to encounter the cartel in Mexico City is like saying you're going to encounter a Los Angeles gang in New York. We're very far away. Mexico's a very big country, so no, not that much. Wow, beautiful. Feeling a little bit shaky. All right. Alvaro, has earthquake alarm gone off? No, it has not. It has not. No, I haven't heard anything. Nor felt any tremors or anything. Wow. Gorgeous. Wow, I like the Mayan aesthetic. These guys had a really cool look. Really cool look. Let me know what you think. Great museum fatigue when there's so many similar objects as Chris. Yeah, that does happen. KJ, thank you so much for the $10 super chat. KJ is awesome. KJ, Teresa, AR. If anyone else left any PayPal or super chat, do let me know. I appreciate it. He says awesome work. Thank you, KJ. Ooh, okay. We have to go downstairs for the jade mask. Let's go downstairs so I can show you something cool. Wish me luck. Hopefully there's service down here. No signal. Oh my god. One of the coolest things is hidden in a place with no signal. That sucks. Oh. Oh, ladies and gentlemen. The struggles of live streaming. AR is if Terminator ever happens in reality, we know where to hide because it's very bad service. This video, Sergio is claiming that this is not live. So Sergio, as you can tell, I have the ability for precognition, and I'm able to correctly predict that you were going to say that comment. So Sergio, you're completely correct. This is not live at all. This is all deception. All right, so since I can't go downstairs because of bad service, I'll tell you what happened here. In December 1980s, it was Christmas Eve, or very, very early Christmas morning. So two guys go over the fence. Well, actually, let me tell you the story the other way. So Christmas Eve, 2 days after Christmas, Mexico is shocked because some of the most treasured objects in this museum have been stolen. Anywhere between 120 to more than 150 objects were stolen. The thing is, this museum. So this museum was not insured, or not the city, but the country did not insure this museum. So they lost out on these goods. One of the objects is this obsidian monkey, which I don't know where it's located either, was valued more than $20 million. The other object, which is right below our feet in the basement level where there's no service, is way more valuable. Like, you can't even put a value to it. It's a jade Mayan mask of a Mayan king by the name of Pacal. What happened? Where did these objects go? Many rumors started going about. Was it some drug cartel? Was it the CIA, the American Central Intelligence Agency? And a lot of people thought it was CIA because CIA wanted to, there's something with international law that, I forgot what it was, but there was something with CIA that people were afraid that the Americans were trying to steal it to get some power or some hold over the Mexican country, which America, to be honest, has done before with the Mexican War, and then we also did it with invading Veracruz during the Mexican Revolution. So CIA, other people thought it was some psychotic millionaire who went to steal all the objects and just stare at them in his lair, maybe in some far off country like the USSR. Well, who was it then? 1989, many years later, the authorities gave up on trying to find the actual artifacts because they thought it's lost forever. These priceless objects will be, if they weren't found already, they will never be found. But they end up getting a tip from a drug cartel out in Acapulco. And this drug leader probably gave this information in order to avoid a tougher punishment when he was arrested. And he said that he heard about this guy by the name of Perches, which is a rather odd name. And he says, oh, I think this guy has the stuff that you're looking for. But it's weird because this guy, he's a nobody in essence. He's not a crime lord. He's not a psychotic billionaire. He's not the CIA. He's just a dude who lived in a suburb of Mexico City called Satélite. It literally translates to satellite. So it was an actual satellite city, and the name of the suburb is called Satellite. They weren't too creative with that name. So they go to the suburban home, they raid Birch's house, and they find a bag. let's go to that night of Christmas Eve. Bedjas and his friend Trevino was his last name, and his friend by the name of, what was his name again? I forgot. Ramirez or Juan, by the name of Juan. They end up going, spending Christmas with their families, with their respective families. One of them had a very sick father, and the other one had a very huge family, but he didn't really get along with them. And these two guys were veterinarian students, and they recently dropped out of school. One was 28, and the other one was 30. Here's Carlos. I'll show it to you. Here's Carlos. For many months, and Monica says you knew his brother. Oh my God, that's crazy. For many months, this guy over here and his friend were staking out the museum. They came here, took photos, were looking at all the architectural design. They were trying to figure out where the guards, where they do their rounds. They were trying to see how the things are sealed. For example, these glass enclosures, they were trying to see how they're sealed. But why? Well, it's because Carlos convinced his friend to join him on the heist. Oh yeah. So after that Christmas Eve, early morning, 2 a.m., between 1 and 4 a.m., they came out by the fence. They jumped the fence. They went inside the museum, went through a basement level, and then in order to get to the Jade Mask, which is now currently downstairs, they went through an air conditioning duct. And they crawled through the air conditioning and came out. So they came out, and I think the Jade Mask used to be prominently featured in one of these glass enclosures. But now they put it in the basement, I guess for security reasons. So they came out, and then they slowly took away the glass. They like heated up the glass. They used some chemical compound, and then they lifted it up and then neatly put it back in. They did this in at least 3 rooms. Here they call them salas. 3 different sections of the museum. And they did not encounter a guard, not even once. And there were upwards of 9 guards in the entire museum. And they were supposed to be watching all the merchandise. But it was Christmas Eve. They just wanted to go home and spend it with family. And apparently they were sleeping on the job. So they did not see the guards at all. So these 2 veterinarian students who were very young, were not in the crime world, were of middle-class suburban families, end up stealing one of the richest pieces in Mesoamerica. They shocked the nation and ended up shocking the world. So what happened in 1989 when they go and try to recover this bag inside the suburban home? Well, why did they get there in the first place? Well, this drug lord was approached by Bedjas in Acapulco, which is on the Pacific coast, to exchange cocaine for one of the pieces. So Carlos Bedjas wanted some cocaine for a priceless Mesoamerican object that could easily sold it for millions if he found the right dealer, if he found the right crime lord. He could have easily sold it for millions, but he just wanted some cocaine. And that's why they went to the house, and inside this bag they found these priceless objects, luckily undamaged, not damaged, intact. And one of those objects was that jade mask that's down below. The other one was the obsidian monkey, probably down below. So why did they steal it? No one knows for sure. A lot of people think that they just stole it for fun. His friend claimed that he was pressured by him to steal it. Maybe that's the case. Maybe Carlos bullied his friend to join him on this crazy adventure. And his friend apparently had very little to lose because his own father was already in his very last days. And he had no other family, I think, or at least he wasn't really connected with his family. So it's a very sad tale, and these guys end up being killed by drug cartels. One of them was involved in some type of shootout, and the other one disappeared and died very young. So let's see one more of the areas. So yeah, they were all fully recovered. Oh, no one knows for sure, 100% for sure if they were all recovered, but I know the more famous ones, 120 something, 125 were recovered. Joe says the Aztecs performed sacrifices, and now Ariel's sacrificing his sanity to bring us live streaming. Indeed. Indeed. Let's see. Oh, okay. Let's go across. Our final stop. This museum is huge. I'll be taking quite a while to cover it, so I'm just going to show you one more. It's a place we're going to visit on Sunday. The large area by perimeter. It is Teotihuacan, and the people of that area, we don't know their actual name. We just know the name that was given by the other Nahua tribes in the area. So we just know them as Teotihuacanos. And on Sunday, we're going to visit Teotihuacan, crossing fingers that we can get some type of live stream, because I'll be joined by an anthropologist. An actual professional anthropologist, and he's going to take us around Teotihuacan with courtesy of Ubish, because he collaborates with this anthropologist. So it's going to be a fun time. Let's go check out Teotihuacan. Aloha, Lorraine. Hey, Lorraine, just sending you a PayPal. Thank you for CDMX. Oh, Lorraine, thank you so much. Everyone, don't tell Lorraine's boss that she's watching.